Funny man prayer. God, please help remove the deep-rooted hatred in my heart reserved for my parents, brother, wife, and fake news close friends of old for doubting my ability to become a big deal podcast hero who's got stars in his eyes. Foreigner lives. Holla! Thank you very much! Because Funny Man mentions matter too. If I'm being an ultra sensitive bitch about it, then I apologize. But you've taught me to trust my gut over outside imposed doubt. Well, I never would have created more hardcore, hilarious sheets of comedy gold like this, with no real-time live audience feedback in sight, since my stay-at-home she-male comedian journey began 4 years ago, after becoming an unplanned father of 3, because I never mastered the art of the pump fake, as you know. Believing in myself is believing in you, which is why I know with the utmost certainty how getting Lady Laugh off long time, all the time, is what I was made to do. It's what I'm gonna do. Jimi Hendrix, Blues Lives, Can I Get a Holla? Free mint money. More money, more money. Can I get a holla for more money, mint money, Funny Man prayer for the ages? Holla! Thank you very much! Doodle Dad, Tree Trunk, holla! Thank you very much! There's an impersonation of my 9-year-old daughter playing our in-house, non-compensated for marriage counselor. Pause, Daddy. Mama got your point mid-breath. Every night, my daughter asks, Daddy, what do you do after you tuck me in? Last night, I snap back and say, I squeeze in some me time, all right? What's it like being an unplanned father of 3? Drinking alone is no longer an issue. I actually gave up drinking beer last summer. I felt terrible, spending so much time hungover, recycling, endless, empty reminders of my lusciness as entire Rocky marathons on AMC passed me by. 6 million hits later, I learned the national pot smoking holiday, 420, is Hitler's birthday. I haven't felt this duped since Sly Stallone snuck Mel Gibson into Expendables 3. Has anyone tried Snoop Dogg's new red wine? Wine Advocate says it tastes like mouthwash used in porn hood hell. This is Ziggy Marley being interviewed by High Times Magazine. Ziggy, how did your dad have 7 kids? Doesn't ganja use drain your life blaster dry? Ziggy Marley says, fake news, man. I had to stop smoking weed after I thought my daughter was asleep because I feel like a total moron trying to answer her questions on it while trying to get her to sleep again. She says, Daddy, if God created the universe, then who created God? Eventually, I come up with God went back in time in a time machine made by Elon Musk. Daughter says, real convincing, Dad. Thanks for making me an atheist at 4. David Cross lives. Holla! Thank you very much! But God didn't give me 3 kids to have a panic attack over it. Which is more than you could say for Pete Davidson, the voice of Generation Z, the rebound boy toy king of Staten Island. Plus, 4 kids would really piss my parents off because they'd feel like more ineffectual grandparents from afar than usual. But I'm afraid of getting a vasectomy because I don't want my ballsack to feel like Edward Scissorhands' face. Tim Burton lives. Holla! Thank you very much! If my daughter's 2 younger brothers play with their Barbie dolls, I think playing with my G.I. Joe figures way past the acceptable age was incredibly gayer, especially when I'd gung-ho manhandle Cobra Commander ad nauseum like his gimpy, dependent bitch in Pulp Fiction. Holla! Thank you very much! One time, my son says to me, I've seen mama's vagina before. I prefer a vagina with no hair. I say, big boobs compliment it better. Holla! Thank you very much! Wife says, our third child, Samuel Chosen Curls, was bound to woo! She claims Chosen Curls gets bored whenever he spends too much time with her. Come to think of it, I always knew the kid was a quick learner. Holla! Thank you very much! I call my son Chosen Curls was bound to woo! Because Italian grandmas flirt with the kid non-stop at Stop and Shop. Way past. The prime rib sample station has closed. They'll say to my son, when you get older, you'll have 3 girlfriends to juggle. And I say, if James Woods had this kid's face, your estimates wouldn't be so conservative. Holla! Thank you very much! Chosen Curl's older brother's name is Arthur Morrison Kornbluth. I wanted to name him Arthur Brooks Kornbluth in honor of perpetually dour, hilarious comedian Albert Brooks, but I changed my mind at the last second because I didn't want to give my son the permission to be a Jewish pussy. The best thing about having a son is that they'll tell you whenever you're being a slacker for you. Son says, Daddy, why didn't you go on the Peloton today? I say, I got food poisoning last night from the halal guys. Son says, enough with the excuses, Daddy. You're worse than Hillary. Dr. Seuss is racist because he drew a picture of an African in a grass skirt. I didn't know FUBU was in fashion yet. Holla! Thank you very much! My wife is from Australia originally. My mom, being the perpetual buzzkill in my life, doesn't miss a beat and calls me up one day to shoot down our plan to marry there. And she says, son, Australia is a long flight from New York, and your father doesn't love you that much. I put my wife at ease later and say, hey babe, assume we have a boy one day. Instead of hiring a rabbi for the circumcision, we'll hire Crocodile Dundee. Just so we could hear a room full of Jews say, now that's a knife. You can chop it all off with that thing. Can I get a holla for an A+ Gen X joke? Gen X dads understand. You're a millennial Katir. I don't care as much about your opinion. You're getting it, and you're fucked over and miserable as usual. So go look yourself. Holla! Thank you very much. Grandparent bad manners is when your dad transfers the smell of stale cigarettes onto your April fresh daughter only 2 days out of mama's snuggle, shine, snatch womb, which makes your firstborn smell like Don Draper's corpse draped in Aramis. Grandparent bad manners is your in-laws spending more on doggy daycare than what they spent on their 3 grandchildren combined so far. 10 years later, 1 year for Christmas, my in-laws got my daughter a plastic Fisher-Price toy chest with no toys in it. I put her at ease and say, don't worry, Matilda. When we get back home to New York, we'll fill it up with your 8,000 Hanukkah gifts. Holla! Thank you very much! The best part of getting socks from your in-laws for Christmas each year is that you get to postpone laundry for another whole week. Although, if my nurse wife has to work on Christmas Eve, I won't get any socks that year because the cost of postage costs more than the socks themselves. Days before last Christmas, I told my wife that the Good Men Project was going to publish 10 of my blogs, like Funnier Dad, Happier Baby, and she says, what are they paying you for it? I said, less than what your parents give us, so nothing. My wife is a lactation consultant, so I call her the boob doctor. She also works in labor and delivery, in addition to the NICU, revitalizing blue-faced babies for a living, which bolsters her claims of me being a narcissist because all I ever check for is for retweets. At the same time, her Irish Catholic dad admits to never attending confession ever. So I'm the bigger fake news narcissist compared to your precious pops. Sorry, babe. It's not computing to me. I'm too much of a dumb hick deplorable to recognize your science-based factual side. Holla! Thank you very much! I'm Generation X. Kids today in Steph Curry jerseys who've never stepped over shit in San Francisco and Northern Cal are the bandwagon generation. Holla! Thank you very much! I grew up fretting about getting AIDS before magic made HIV disappear. As a result, I like my comedy like my coffee. Dark and bitter. Dark roast to be exact. Or else I'd be circumcising my happiness, and my wife does that enough to me already. She says I've sacrificed. She acts like an aspiring comedian in his late 20s, wanted kids ever. I'm 45 now. I've aged well, I know. My wife hasn't sucked the life out of my face just yet. Despite dropping lines such as, if I give the baby boob now, he'll be on the boob all night long. I say, all of a sudden, your boob has more important places to be. Be happy. Your torn up nips are getting any attention at all. Last night, I sucked on her nips for a second, for old time's sake, before regretting that decision immediately, after realizing they still taste like a regrettable, non-fat latte. Holla! Thank you very much! My wife works nights as a nurse, so whenever I'm out in public with my 3 kids, almost always, I'll run into some like grown man, and he'll say to me, wow, you've got your hands full. And I'll say, if my books, The Great American Jew Novel, Waist to Height, Really Short Stories, and The Koshetarian Comedian, if any of those 3 ever secure me a literary agent who could find his freaking nutsack sometime this century, resulting in my wife conceding to an open marriage with Katy Perry, then my hands would be full. Holla! Thank you very much! The Wise Ass Owl. I email a big hit on my WordPress blog called Our Schlocky Schlong Music to my old editor at the Good Man Project about the timeless allure of power ballads. From a ball-busting yet emotive, poetic perspective, including some digs about cops and how every day now for them post-George Floyd riots is standing down day. I also include a Ronnie Van Zant rape sequence of Neil Young in the can to spice up the Buns of Steel feel to it all. Ronnie Van Zant, main songwriter and frontman behind the legendary group Lynyrd Skynyrd, makes Neil Young his Canadian cunt in the can without breaking a sweat while howling, more shriekage wailing, Young! I'm not buying you being whipped on a southern man, being all free and up in your jailbird ass. Holla! Thank you very much! Old editor emails back, I get fired if I publish this, although it would give my editor a heart attack first. Chances are her editor, publisher, doesn't tune into InfoWars, or else she'd develop black sheep immunity by now. Holla! Alex Jones lives. Thank you very much! My editor also described Google as the king of online publishing, who's taken offense at blog posts that they don't pay their writers for from 10 years ago, back in the Good Men Project, back when Lena Dunham had much skinnier arms and wasn't so full of herself. I only wish I could tell that same publisher to go woke herself long time, all the time back then, without it sounding so forced, futuristic now. Holla! Thank you very much! Google can't handle the truth. Google is more skin deep sensitive than Joe Biden taking a non-approved question on which parent Hunter inherited his lack of artistic talent from, assuming media protecting grifting doesn't count. Can't find a better man sounds a tad egocentric. Eddie Vedder, don't you think? Courtney Love told Billy Corgan the same line before her shotgun marriage to the king of grunge, otherwise known as Kurt Cobain, for Millennium Musketeers not following my hardcore, hilarious flow. Holla! Thank you very much! Kurt Cobain's spirit animal was the wise-ass owl. It was all about injecting smack into his lyrics and endlessly catty interviews on MTV2. Kurt Loder lives. Holla! Thank you very much! Where do all the masks go? Before my nurse wife leaves for work, she bemoans in a semi-playful, borderline annoying free manner, where do all the masks go for the kids? I want to say, Up in Smoke. My Burning Mass party record release party this past July 4th. When you were at work, babe, I even blew up the internet with a record release party for my Burning Mass party record on SoundCloud. I even used Art Show's artwork that we got framed for the record cover that's got the portrait of an incest-free variation of Prince Godfrey from Game of Thrones, which captures the resistance fury against mask smothers like yourself. Don't you think? Don't answer that question, babe. And fuckface Fauci, we trust no matter what. Got it. Can I get a holla for preaching the gospel a long time? For hardcore, hilarious, rocks, living proof of it. Holla! Aerosmith lives. Thank you very much. Because I'm chipping away at the stone. Holla! Thank you very much. Stuck in teenage Tasteland, who lives. Holla! Thank you very much. Mom always asks me, out in the street, when I'm out with my son, Samuel Chosen Curls was bound to, woo! Those moms always ask me, why is your son so happy all the time? Or at least throughout the duration of this conversation. I say, funnier dad, happier baby. Plus, he's got more muscle memory to flex from than a young Leo on the set of Growing Pains with Alan Thicke. You want a photo off, baby boomer? I didn't think so. Holla! Thank you very much. I hate hearing, my kids loved remote learning. They got so much more work done. Why should our kids get off so easy? Kids today should be exposed to time-sucking meeting overkill, the way office space life works in real life. Or else, how will they develop a much-needed tolerance for a perpetual indentured suckitude? Also, the more remote learning becomes mainstream, the less likely our kids will ever rock the karaoke stage to Teenage Wasteland by The Who, actually called Bob O'Reilly, with such jump-happy, windmill rocking enthusiasm to celebrate those excessively awkward bummer times becoming less scar tissue, heavy downer times in your heart, man. You dig? Not talking to you, fake news Zionist, in bed with Mr. Groper no matter what. Your level of comprehension on anything means less to me than Jill Biden's hairstyle tips during Scarecrow Appreciation Week. Holla! Mike Judge, resist this long time. Thank you very much. All guitar players, professional or not, have grossly inflated views of themselves, like bartenders who rock wool hats, then sensualize AC Splendor, which is a far cry from reliving those summertime blues. Joan Jett lives, did an awesome cover of it. Holla! Thank you very much. Yeah, you, okay, guitar guy. Mr. Ego, Mr. Guitar Ego, you possess a more beautiful spirit than Randy Rhoads. Got it. Randy Rhoads' other worldly audition for Ozzy Osbourne blew a bat out of the Prince of Darkness's ass from one finger exercise twinkle tap alone. After the Prince of Darkness got kinky with Elvira in his underground wine and cheese cave in his Beverly Hills party pad palace prior, before Sharon birthed that unhuggable sea cunt of a daughter that ruined Fashion Police forever after teaming up with trans Chucky. Holla! Thank you very much! Joan Lives, that's for you, babe. Thank you very much! I'm at the guitar store to sign up for guitar lessons and asked the manager there, who's a black dude, do black kids come into the guitar store today and tell you they want to learn how to play like Vern Reed from Living Colour? He's the black heavy metal version of Hendrix minus the rollicking, mysterious personality and big pimpin' fly guy feathered fedora hats in his acid rock friendly wardrobe to enhance his overall pinup appeal. I remember requesting the song Cult of Personality at a bar mitzvah party the second that video broke big, and the DJ had no idea who I was talking about. DJ says, Living Colour? Like the show with Damon Wayans? Nah, DJ Hickey Quickie doesn't play that. Homie the Clown lives in Living Colour. Wayne's Brothers rule forevermore. Holla! Thank you very much! I clarify. No, the band is called Living Colour, not In Living Colour. Damon Wayans. Marlon. The best comedic family lineage, form of comedic royalty New York has ever produced. The Stillers are close. Holla! Thank you very much! Now, the band is called Living Colour, not In Living Colour. And how have you not seen the video for Cult of Personality on MTV yet? The video is much less Muslim Brotherhood angry like every other Public Enemy video prior, despite Chuck D growing up in a upper middle class suburb within Yenta Breath Country, Long Island. Holla! Thank you very much! Later, I point out to the black store manager at the guitar store in Danbury, Connecticut, how the lead singer of Living Colour is actually Danny Glover's son, and that they should change the name of the song Cult of Personality to reflect our post-woke oppressed times and rename it Cult of Hollywood Royalty. Holla! Thank you very much! Do you think Danny Glover had Mel Gibson give his son's demo to the head of Warner Brothers Records after doing Lethal Weapon together? Or did Mel resist the request because he avoided meeting Jewish music producers like Phil Spector more than Holocaust film retrospectives on AMC? The black manager of the guitar store was shocked when I told him about Danny Glover's son being the lead singer and songwriter of Living Colour. Do you think I told him that I thought Kevin Hart was hardcore, hilarious all of a sudden, as opposed to being another mildly amused, short on laughs spectator like the rest? Holla! Thank you very much! How much social anxiety did Durant, voice of the Millennial Mouseketeer generation, how much social anxiety did that Durant face when the press questioned his leadership prowess after Team USA lost exhibition games against Nigeria and Australia? Right-wing reporter from Breitbart Sports asked, Kevin, you talk all this smack about being a big-time leader who gets the best out of others, like LeBron, or the way Chipmunk Chucker did with Golden State this year, with less reliable shooting options available after Antifa wildfires burned up every safe space to shoot up. Doze off playground bench left in Portlandia. What do you say to all your critics who are more in the right to question your ability to inspire the will to win no matter what among your tinier, less endowed, coddled teammates, Damian Lillard excluded? Durant says, go woke yourself, honky. I didn't know Nigeria went to Hakeem the Dream Shea Camp free of charge. Plus, I didn't know Team Australia hired ex-Bulls center Luke Longley to train their big man on the down low, down under. Luke had a more reliable jump hook shot than Draymond Green ever did. Am I coming down too hard on aw shucks Draymond now? Well, Draymond Green should be able to take whatever he dishes out, knowing how much punishment he delivers below the belt already. Barkley lives. Holla! Thank you very much! Who prices the art for Hunter Biden's blow paintings that blow? The Tooth Fairy of Beijing, who leaves 500 grand under his Chinese silk pillow every time he cuts his tooth into another masterpiece as a reward for giving up blow painting, like Tom Hanks' son, who's more into being the black sheep rapper wannabe in The Family instead. Holla! Thank you very much! Friendship litmus test for borderline, old school, fair weather friends who you were never that close to in the first place, regardless of all of your dramatic efforts to convince yourself otherwise. Text the links to my past 6 comedy records in a row and give them 1 month to get around to hearing one. If they don't, I'll be forced to place an ad on Craigslist for another ego jerk-off buddy. Comfortable enough in his own skin to tickle someone else's balls without throwing out their back while trying to suck off their own inflated sense of tempered emotive resistance in their honor. Although I'm not a complete poverty case. My old sales boss used to let me do new material at work in our office in One Penn Plaza above MSG, the world's most famous arena. Got back to me already and said, "Too funny. You'll make it. Just keep on doing you." I think I'm going to name this comedy record Hardcore, Hilarious, Rocks After All. Thanks again for the stage time, Larry. You're a shining example of why stand-up mentions matter too. Can I get a holla for preaching the gospel a long time and for giving gratitude for dream encouragers that keep our positivity and belief in the Almighty, for making our dreams come true as long as we don't give up on believing that you're going to finish what you fucking started, come rain or shine. Frank Sinatra lives. Holla! Thank you very much! Condoms coming soon. When in-person learning in Chicago resumes in the fall, kids as young as 10 years old will be given mandatory condoms. Will Cardi B be brought in as a guest speaker to demonstrate how to put it on a replica of Lexington Steel's pussy wrecker rearranger by the skin of her teeth? If the kids are lucky, Mayor Lightfoot will pardon R. Kelly so he can ask for willing volunteers for an in-person demonstration after a restraining order by Kim Kardashian prevents Mr. Groomer from babysitting the latest Kardashian out of the womb. Criminal justice lawyers are so hot right now. Holla! Thank you very much! Side note, Bruce Jenner was never asexual when married to Kris Jenner, but I'm positive Bruce Jenner was able to stay harder, longer after he got Kris to cut her hair short so she can look more like a dolled up Ralph Macchio. Holla for jokes Gen X dads understand. Thank you very much! Kids are being given mandatory condoms at 10. That's the 4th grade. My daughter's age. You think the boys in her class have enough masks lying around the house to wipe up with already? But masks are the new condoms. Not. I can't come on my wife wearing one either, even if I'm pretending to be a metrosexual Lone Ranger who's known as the quickest shot west of the Hudson River. Holla! Thank you very much! How could you not blame porno on demand for creating sexually active kids as early as 10 years old today? I didn't even know Vaseline was used as a lubricant for hellhole sex until a camper made a comment about the jar my mom packed for me at camp at 14. My mom was grooming me to become full-time entertainment at the latest and greatest DNC fundraiser at John Podesta's house after all. Here's a pedo-friendly installation artwork on the walls to make Marilyn Manson blush. Kids getting handed out mandatory condoms at 10 is scary. Shit out of your ass. Scary, Holmes. Will 10-year-old boys be required to roleplay with Jussie Smollett to develop an immunity to casting couch distress years later in Rapewood as Obama High's new community outreach play officer, according to his new profile headline on LinkedIn? Holla! Thank you very much! Anyone? This is my definition of deplorable. Deplorable is anyone who's glad Jussie Smollett took a shot. Resist this. Sucking this long time. Holla! Thank you very much! Thanksgiving at the Obamas should get weird woke fast this year. Obama says, Malaya, you barely touch your tofurkey. So I let you intern for Miramax for the Me Too movement began. Michelle was still your chaperone on the set of Girls, and that fat Jew couldn't pin down Michelle if he tried. LinkedIn. This is my impersonation of Dr. Dre discussing the merger of Microsoft and LinkedIn with Eminem. Hey Slim, Microsoft paid $4.5 billion for LinkedIn. Oh, word! LinkedIn is lamer than ever, yo! Holla! Thank you very much! Really tempting text to send to mom. How close have you come to ratting out your domestic terrorist son to the Department of Homeland Security for supporting Trumpy Poo again? And for sending him 2 of my books, Doodle Dad Does Jokes and Resist This, and getting 2 letters from the White House in return. You do know the Klan was founded by Democratic leadership to scare black Americans into voting Democrat over the party of Lincoln after the 15th Amendment passed, right? Or was that historical footnote brushed over in your 4th grade history class in Kentucky, where finger food is considered anything that tastes like your cousin's panties? Truly, tasteless jokes live. Holla! Thank you very much! The never-ending shit show. Again, Whitesnake lives. Holla! Thank you very much! The CDC said only fully vaccinated children do not need to wear masks in classrooms. But the vaccine is only available for kids 12 and above. So homeschool your kids if you dare, MAGA country. You can't even book a cruise to preserve what sanity you've left without the vaccine. Plus, good luck affording to attend the Monsters of Rock cruise this summer with only one paid working parent holding down your wannabe Daniel Boone Ford at all. Have fun sticking to nappy detail versus hearing your youth gone wild song by the far less shitty Skid Row. And only gay dudes competing for top floors on Full Bloom on HBO get to take a stab at playing the permanently unwelcome card, regardless of gay choirs in San Francisco feeling comfortable enough to make cheeky Groomers Are Us videos about threatening to turn your child over to the sunny side up gay side, assuming they're not Jewish, and deem stained glass windows made out of rainbows as too in-your-face gay churchy for their taste. Can I get a holla for hardcore hilarious material getting lady laugh off long time all the time? Holla! Thank you very much! Losing your religion. R.E.M. lives. Holla! Thank you very much! When you order a triple espresso, you're tripling down on productivity that day. Last time I ordered a double, I made a decision. Only triple espressos moving forward, because my wife circumcises my happiness enough already. If your mom rejected your connection request on LinkedIn, you'd live to score laughs from strangers for a living too. Mom told me once, who's from Kentucky, she says, son, Kentucky's known for two things, horses and pretty ladies. I said, Mom, keep your sundress on before you tell me that Dad is hung like Seabiscuit. And the reason why you converted to Judaism is because Dad's Hebrew hammer pounded you into submission. Good. Holla! Thank you very much! I'm the mother of your three kids. It's a lame cop-out to use whenever I call my wife out for being blatantly shitty to daddy again. When you become a mother, it doesn't prevent you from becoming an unhuggable cunt like my mother-in-law is, without fail. Just like becoming a grandpa doesn't ensure you'll turn into fucking Santa Claus overnight either. For example, for Christmas one year, when my daughter was only 2, my father-in-law got her this Fisher-Price toy chest with no toys inside it. My daughter acted confused, not knowing if this was a sick practical joke or not. So I eased her concern and say, don't sweat it, Matilda. When we get back home to New York, we'll fill it up with your 8,000 Hanukkah gifts. And if I'm in a more forgiving, generous mood, being inspired by the message of Jesus to forgive, I'll throw in some Jesus Apostle trading cards to prove the Bible Part 2 matters plenty to 2 billion at large too. Holla! Thank you very much! Mom just texted me a black and white picture from Easter with her sister. Yet it got weird when she pushed for my daughter to see it because this is coming from a woman who went out of her way to shame my Gentile wife during my daughter's conversion and mikvah ceremony. Told the rabbi there, I'm the daughter of the biblical Sarah, unlike my bitch daughter-in-law, who was never that into Jesus in the first place either. I text back my mother and say, I was born on Easter, Mom, as you know. Plus, my friends call me Jesus in college when my hair was thick and long enough. Plus, I've been called a delusional madman for criticizing fake news heroes like Obama be good. So I share that connection with the Christian Messiah too. Last, Matilda drew this in the sand yesterday. There's a picture. It said, I love Jews. And you never acknowledged the artwork in the sand. Which proves to me, Mom, you're a fake news converted Jewess. Despite Dad nailing you to the ground with the Hebrew hammer, good enough for you to ditch Jesus to the curb New York minute prior while blurting out 20 seconds later, so I worship the Old Testament father of creation now moving forward. A miracle would be Jesus turning me on to pickled herring and chopped liver. That's not too overtly Jewish for my taste. Holla! Thank you very much! The poor sport from Dick's. Kids learn bad habits from Dad, but not according to an out-of-shape, late middle-aged sales rep for Dick's Sporting Goods in Danbury, Connecticut. I'm about to buy a boxing bag for my kids and say, kids learn bad habits from Dad. That's why I wasted my adolescence on smoking cigarettes and watching the Knicks stink up the joint year after year. The dick-headed defiant sales rep from Dick's, no younger than 70, whose body was no temple of fitness either, replies, that's not true. Because my dad smoked cigarettes, and I was an athlete. My kids are athletes too. I say, so your sons force you to work at Dick's for their employee store discount? I don't get it. Tom Hanks and Big Liv's. Holla! Thank you very much! Idolatry is off the list, kids! Can I get a holla for A+ catchphrase? That being off the list! Holla! That's where that came from. Thank you very much! This is me explaining idolatry to my daughter. So God, Hashem, the Most High, hates the worship of false idols, such as Goodwill Hoodie at Facebook, Nancy, Danger Breath Pelosi, Blowhard Trump, in addition to NPR's grossly inflated sense of self-worth because they don't get paid hefty salaries for producing huge ratings ever, or else their hellholes would be screwed permanently. Holla! Thank you very much! Planned Parenthood's insistence on declaring it's entirely your body, without God playing any starring role in creating a smoking hot enough bod to get pregnant by mistake in the first place. My daughter says, what if I want to get into Buddha? And I say, only if you have a verifiable photographic memory. Plus, God is no problem with you incorporating meditation into your life, Matilda. Daughter says, what's meditation? I say, it's a bunch of breathing exercises you do to feel like a less all over the place Jew. Daughter says, you're not very good at meditation, are you, Dada? Fine. Idolatry is off the list. Holla! Thank you, Hashem, the Most High, for the unplanned gift of fatherhood, because children are family upgrades. Holla! Thank you very much! A pagan spirited Christmas. Growing up, I tried to sell my dad and allow my mom to get a Christmas tree and say, Mom converted to Judaism to kick Jesus to the curb, only to marry into your Potsy DNA, Dad. The least you can do is let her get a Christmas tree already, especially one bigger than the cobweb-covered bonsai tree relegated to the corner of our side patio last year. They got less touches than a Bible in a bathhouse colony in Provincetown. Holla! Thank you very much! Dad says, son, Jews don't buy Christmas trees unless the plan is to convert one into a treehouse and flip it for a profit. Buddy Hackett lives. Holla! Thank you very much! Dad adds, son, when Christians look at a Christmas tree, they see a Christmas tree. When Jews look at a Christmas tree, they see a camouflage cross. Lenny Bruce lives. Holla! Thank you very much! One year, for Christmas Eve, my wife had to work that evening, so we didn't visit her folks for Christmas that year. So I missed out on receiving the same set of black socks from my mother-in-law because the cost of postage cost more than the socks themselves. As I established before, so much for postponing laundry for another week. Callback Central Deluxe. Holla! Thank you very much! Another year for Christmas in Delaware, whose state slogan should be changed at this point to, your Nazi gold is safe with us. The only gift my daughter received from her Christian grandparents was a plastic toy chest with no toys in it. Again, I called my daughter and said, don't worry, Matilda, when we get back home to New York, you'll flow with your 8,000 Hanukkah gifts. Callback Deluxe Part 2! Holla! Thank you very much! I wrote a short story for Hanukkah called Gimel Be Good about the kid who invented the dreidel game to distract the Romans from their banned Torah studies by making a gambling game, which used fake news gold gelt. So if a Roman officer crashed your home to see if any forbidden circumcision was being performed to remove the future head buried into a floppy sleeping bag look, the Roman officer would think, oh, another degenerate Jew with a gambling problem. Nothing to see here. Play on. Holla! Casino lives. Thank you very much! At Whole Foods, I got an Albert Einstein ornament decoration for our Christmas tree, which I bought because it's a solid anti-Semitic qualifier. Like my gift for anyone that you believe is on the anti-Semitic side, the Great American Jew Novel. Holla! Thank you very much! Especially knowing how Einstein played a huge role in building the atom bomb. Not some Nazi tweet out on crystal meth, giving Hail Hitler shout-outs to a swastika flag. And that symbol, the swastika, I know it's a Hindu symbol. It still looks like two gay stick figures giving each other a 69 on a seesaw. My wife got tense when she saw the Albert Einstein ornament. She said, decorate your own tree. I said, I thought this was our in-house non-denominational tree because you bought a white Guido tree like the one Ray Liotta brings home for Karen in Goodfellas after he starts selling cocaine behind Paulie's back. So the tree you got doesn't count as the traditional Jesus loves you no matter what Christmas tree, even if your dad was the former head of Planned Parenthood or on the board of directors like Bill Gates' baby shower crashing dad was. Holla! Thank you very much. Wife says, but the Christmas tree is a pagan symbol. I say, but I'm trying to raise our kids in a Jewish household, not on the set of the Slayer video, Rain on More Blood. Plus, true believing Jews don't bend over backwards to worship idols, like Hyde Biden, aka Mr. Groper, while giving God the stiff arm, talk that hand treatment, or else the Maccabees would have never delivered the smackdown on the Syrians who tried to force my people to eat one too many ham and cheese sandwiches for our taste. But the Jews are the pushy, demanding ones, not the more inclusive, all-loving Christians of yesteryear. And I'll take the Crusades 1 through 5,000, Alex. Fine, I'm being the paranoid Jew. The Christmas tree isn't a camouflage cross. It's just another pagan symbol ripoff. So let's up the ante. And I'll pile all my Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath records to the ceiling and call it a tree, in the spirit of stacking pagan symbols on top of each other. I'll even drape the bottom of my dark metal tree with a Ouija board signed by Jimmy Page from eBay as a combined Big Kahuna Hanukkah gift for all 3 kids. In case our little ones get burnt out, I'm playing Dreidel to Adam Sandler's Hanukkah song on vinyl one too many times. Even with the new added verse, Linda Sarsour, not a fan. Can I get a holla for more hardcore, hilarious A+ Gemry? You're welcome. Holla! Thank you very much! Rock and roll ain't shit without AC/DC. Bon Scott lives forevermore. Holla! Thank you very much! Rock and roll ain't shit without AC/DC. And unlike Chuck Berry, legendary howling front man legend Bon Scott, and the best picker-upper follower of all time, and it's not even close, Brian Johnson, no offense, Sammy Hagar, never put a camera in the girls' bathroom in his own restaurant to spy a new pubescent trim to break in at the restaurant to get a big Kansas City T-bone special of her own. Chuck Berry lives. Sorry about that perverse homage in your honor, but it's not my fault. Holla! I didn't put the camera there. Thank you very much! AC/DC is also Rick Rubin's favorite band, and he's the less cagier, earthier, hip-hop hipper, machine, pop, cultural, tectonic, shifter, shaper equivalent of Phil Spector, minus the amazing made-for-HBO movie about the Ronettes-loving, teenager-in-love soundtrack-penning producer legend, gold record-shitting Phil Spector, who for some reason decided to chuck it all for a C- bit, never was actress, whose big screen credit break was playing Amazon Woman on the Moon Extra 5000. But I digress. Brian Johnson, the rip-roaring, shredding, current lead singer of AC/DC, who made his debut on Back in Black, can no longer perform live now because all of his pitch-perfect, cannonball powered, shriek blasting for God knows how long has made him borderline deaf. Now, all Brian Johnson hears, God willing, is Hell's Bells! AC/DC lives. Holla! Thank you very much! 4 Jews enter a Greek temple. Gimel. Not to be confused with Gimel Be Good, just Gimel. A high school wrestling star for Jerusalem High, turned professional bookie for the Maccabees, stands in prayer, lip-syncing some horseshit prayer in honor of some half-horse, half-man freak centaur who also happens to be hung like an Arabian. Bengals lives. Holla! Thank you very much! Shin, the local tailor, adjusts his fancy schmancy tallis like a stressed-out Rodney bombing with new material at Dangerfield and says, Gimel, have you ever been Hellenized? Because you know, I have. Jimmy lives. Holla! Thank you very much! Because how else do you explain my fear of getting electrocuted to death since Zeus jammed a thunderbolt up my wife's snatch because she called the goddess of wisdom Athena fake news deep compared to the Lord our God, not the God of loud rain. Gimel, elbow Shin in the stomach and says, stop making me laugh so hard, Shin. You'll arouse the wrath of Galos. Galos, the personification of laughter, because despite his Greek god status, he isn't endowed with the funny jawbone to bang out room-shaking laughter with either. Boom shakalaka, holla, Slicestone lives. Thank you very much. Nun, a kosher winemaker, enters the Greek temple after wining and dining a Greek senator who threatened to take over his family winery if he didn't erect a marble sculpture fountain of Dionysus connected to the underground barrels of pricey Cabernet Sauvignon, which spill out of his golden chalice cup every other 2 seconds. Nun spots his friends Shin and Gimel whispering to each other, lip-syncing up close near the holy side of the Greek temple, where the golden menorah used to light up the second temple before Antiochus, otherwise known as Pontificus the Putz, took over after Alexander the Great died and turned the second temple into a head shop for Greek gods, where they now sell bundles of incense sticks for 5 shekels and a gram of hashish. What a country Judea had become. Nun lines up next to friends Shin and Gimel, engaging in fake news, a Greek god prayer, and whispers to his old school Jerusalem High wrestling buds, what are you two doing here again? You'll get crucified if the Greek priests overhear you kvetching about you having zero interest in worshiping Pan the goat boy during the never-ending Second Temple period. But you have to bitch because we already paid our synagogue dues before Pontificus the Putz turned our JCC gymnasium into a members-only gay bathhouse for Greek senators to bask in endless leisure, admiring each other's flappy rounds of mounds. Hey, the kosher, hey, Paula, I wanna marry you. Animal House lives. Holla, thank you very much. But not that hey. The Hebrew character in this story, 4 Jews enter a Greek temple. Hey! The kosher dairy farmer enters the Greek temple with a shalef knife, whose incredibly sharp edge ensures a painless, Torah-commanded, gentle as can be death for cows later converted into brisket stew. The Negev desert sun glares through the newly refurbished stained glass window designs of nymphs playing tug of war with Hercules' cock. Hercules! Eddie Murphy lives. Holla! Thank you very much! But this blast of holy power light nearly blinds the Greek priest leading the service as the Negev desert light bounces off Hayes' shalef butcher knife and refracts into his Greek god-loving eyes, which I'm sure reminds the Greek priest at the time he wanted to poke his eyes out after getting blackout drunk from a 3-day theater festival in Athens, only to wake up next to Medusa's sister, who rapes drunk Greek priests at will because in her presence, blackout drunk or not, you become automatically frozen stiff. Holla! Thank you very much! As the Greek priest rubs his eyes in extreme agony. Hey! The kosher dairy farmer, with his shalef knife held up high in the air, yells, Maccabees rule! We're the chosen people for a reason, bitches! Holla! Thank you very much! 8 days later, the magnificent band of Maccabee warrior brothers reclaimed the Greek temple and turned it into the grand second temple of old without barely breaking a sweat because the Lord was on their side. Bob Dylan lives. Holla! Thank you very much! And I bet you 8 million shekels. Hermes ran for the hills away from Zion as fast as he could, refusing to give the God of loud rain the message. Resist this! Holla! Thank you very much! Loud man's disease. How loud was Do It All Dad? For starters, when seeing Aerosmith live in Las Vegas 2 summers ago, with close seat to the stage before a mask muzzle was designed to kill freedom of speech forever, his incessant hollering and wooing, woo, made lead singer Steven Tyler shoot off retaliatory hate stares of disgust in his direction, which screamed, "Somebody shut this loudmouthed Jew up already. This is my showcase career retrospective, not his. I didn't blow millions on Blow and almost derail my stadium selling out career in the 70s to have this big-headed putz project louder than me without a microphone, Joe Perry, and a state-of-the-art sound system working in his magnifying favor either, who still manages to sound louder than Busta Rhymes at a midnight showing of Higher Learning. Holla! Thank you very much!" There was also the time Do It All Dad saw Dice in a casino in Arizona with his younger brother, only for the Dice Man to single out the loudmouth Jew and yell with exasperated force, "You're an asshole!" And all he was doing was laughing a long time, all the time prior, while sporadically yelling, "Dice rules!" Dice was so flummoxed by Do It All Dad's throaty, laugh-filled roar, he beelined into his nursery rhymes prematurely, way ahead of schedule, to get the fuck out of Dodge at a hard 45 minutes into his act. Then there was a time when Do It All Dad saw Bon Jovi at Mohegan Sun with his daughter Matilda, fairly up in the nosebleed seats, this time behind the stage. Yet his bombastic, rocket-fueled voice still managed to get under zebra print skin as the old-school, long-haired cowboy from New Jersey projected a damning, "you ain't shit" 1,000-yard stare toward Mr. Loudman's Disease incarnate as he sang along with rock star blasting authority, "Bad medicine is all I need. Whoa, holla, thank you very much." Do It All Dad didn't only piss off living legendary comedians and Hall of Fame rock star frontmen with surefire, unintentional precision. "Come rain or shine, Sinatra lives. Holla, thank you very much." His omnipresent Loudman's Disease enraged his normally English dour future father-in-law over dinner in his home in Delaware. Only 2 minutes after grace, compelling future father-in-law to bark out in depleted drains already discussed. He's more talkative than the other one. The other one being the Gentile mute from Indiana his daughter was engaged to prior, before she found a real deal partner in love this time around, at least for the time being. Holla! Until he makes it already. Thank you very much! The major issue now was Do It All Dad's Lyme disease causing his son, Archer USA, to develop all-consuming migraine headaches, leading his son to sport a permanent PMS face until they started to take out mainlining extra-strength Tylenol again. And Do It All Dad's son was tough. How tough, you ask? Well, when Archer USA required stitches for tripping on top of an empty IPA glass on the ground and had to wait 1,000 lifetimes in the ER room so that other doctors could serve all the first-in-line dreamers in attendance, the doc gave Do It All Dad 2 options. Either A, authorize the doc using anesthesia, which would take 20 minutes to kick in, or B, stitch up his son on the spot as his gaping gash continued to open wider than Octomom after push 5,000. Do It All Dad chose B, only for the doctor to say, "Your kid is tough." Do It All Dad inquires, "Indulge me, doc. How tough?" Doc says, "One time there was this black kid from Brooklyn." Do It All Dad says, "Sold. Thanks for giving my son tough guy bragging rights for me to derive vicarious pride from till my last dying breath. Holla! Thank you very much!" But how is Do It All Dad going to solve his loud man's disease exactly? Would triple masking even get the job done after getting his tonsils taken out for an extra safe precaution? Would Do It All Dad become a eunuch monk, despite already feeling this way at times from being a stay-at-home dad, bitchy underling, until his comedy writing career achieved blast-off already? Would Do It All Dad take out a voodoo doctor in Washington Heights to cure his loud man's disease by changing his pigmentation to ESL Asian? What could Do It All Dad do to prevent his son from receiving any more debilitating headaches in his presence again? Finally, Do It All Dad devised a cure-all solution. He'd buy his son a pair of Bose noise canceling headphones to wear in his presence and teach him fucking sign language, because native New Yorkers were made to be heard. Boy! Flavor Flav lives forevermore. Holla! Thank you very much!